Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
We're going back to back. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks
Basketball Podcast.
I am your host, Freddie Rivas, and who, sir, are you?
I am your producer, Matt Duncan.
Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, it's, I guess sometimes you kind of feel like you haven't had much contact with the outside world.
Sure.
So, you're, I guess forgetting how to talk is something that's coming up right now. But
I've been staring at all sorts of different walls in my apartment.
Oh, yeah. Have you gone anywhere in your apartment yet to like I don't know, crawl into a cupboard to eat dinner one night just to see what it's like in there?
Yeah. Oh no, the thing is, for my cupboard, I can't fully fit in, so I call it a half cupboard brunch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Usually Caitlin says please come down, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a fun time. Let's jump into some stuff here. First of all, if you listen to this podcast on a regular basis, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Share, subscribe, all that. But if you want to find us or tell people how to find us, where's all the various online venues people can find us, Matt?
If you go to our website at dunkspodcast.com, we have all our links on the right for you to click on for iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify if you want to subscribe to a podcatcher, as well as Player FM. And then we've also got our, fun social Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everything you can click there. What else?
Well, what about, if they want to go above and beyond and they want to support us during this difficult time? They want to say oh my God, these guys are really still making podcasts during a pandemic. Maybe I'll flick them a pence or a penny. You know what I mean? So if people want to help us out, where can they go? How can they do that?
You could check out our Patreon at Dunks Podcast. It's patreon.com/Dunks Podcast. The link is also on our website, and you'll get the episodes first thing a couple hours after we record, and you also get some primo content that we're constantly trying to brainstorm to get more stuff for Patreon, and and just support us and help us keep this thing going and be able to keep those toques coming in.
Okay, Matt, you went straight to it. I was going to foreshadow, it's spring, but I think, there's a lot of the year in Canada where it makes sense to wear something warm on your head. So if you need that, you want that, where can you get that? What could you use to warm your own head?
Well, you're going to want to get a Confederacy of Dunks toque. As you know, winners, I don't even think they're open right now. See, that's the main toque spot, I think, for a lot of people. So we're picking up the slack a little bit. We've got some toques left, $20 a head top, and we do have a guarantee: no itch, hair or no hair.
It's a weird guarantee.
Yeah,
we acknowledge it's a weird guarantee.
Yeah,
but we're not backing down from it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think you'll be very pleased with it. They age well, and sometimes I like to wear it while I'm in bed too, just as an extra pillow.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
An extra Kyle Lowry butt pillow.
Yeah.
You'll understand that later in the pod. But I think we should probably get cracking. What do you think? Should we hop into it?
Okay.
Sweet. So let's get this pod rolling. Bring on guest number one. He works for Second City, works in animation. He is a hardcore Cleveland fan, and I think I said fanned, but I meant the word fan, F-A-N. And I don't know, I always say this, but I don't know anyone else who is a hardcore Cleveland fan. So for that reason, if no other, give it up for Ned Petrie.
Yeah, there it is. Cool. Ah,
Hey,
yes. There you go. Check this out. Whoop. I've been working on new moves
I
in the
love you
quarantine.
committing to that bit every time.
I have.
I got it. Yeah.
When I'm quarantined, I have a lot of time to work on my moves, as you can plainly see through that
Ned,
introduction there.
let me just say thank you so much for joining this podcast today, and let me echo Matt in just praising you committing to the bit. And I think what's different with you in the musical bit, and not to put too much pressure on our next guest, but you just bring the bit to life throughout the whole song. Like, I really am seeing you dropping and juggling those plates deep into the track. So thank you. And again, no pressure to the next guest. Ned is his own beast, but Ned, thank you so much. Let's bring on guest number 2. He's incredible. He runs my safe space on the internet, a Raptors group called Give Me Some Raptors. I think he's still with the Rec Room. He recently moved back to Canada. Hardcore Raptors fan. He's an awesome dude. Give it up for Andre de Pape.
Yeah. Wait.
I'm sorry, Andre.
Whoa!
He's adding in his own music.
Whoa!
And her name was Cassandra.
Her name was Cassandra.
That's right.
We're not gonna laugh here, boys.
I add to this.
Yeah, you
This is the real talent show here.
I felt a lot of pressure, I gotta say.
I mean, did. And I kept using the word pressure.
Man. First he's like
Andre,
really into Cleveland, so I gotta compete with that.
Well,
sheesh.
I should say for reference for the listeners, it's where I was born, so I've got the one excuse. But
That's an excuse.
so
But even then,
but
I'm a supporter of people that live in Cleveland. I wouldn't say that if these teams lose in a heartbreaking way, my heart breaks for Cleveland and the people that live there.
I think what
necessarily
Ned's
for
saying
there.
is he doesn't have problems finding a date, It's like, I was born in Cleveland. You might have heard of it.
yeah. No, when Ned, trust me, I've seen it, Andre. You could be anywhere. And when Ned, and what he does is he shouts that out, and he shouts it to the sky. I'm from Cleveland.
That's how I enter every room.
Sometimes people come up to him and they're like, "Are you doing the Drew Carey thing?" And then he's like, "No." And then they're like, "Oh," and then they start dating. It's so cool. Yeah, the Drew Carey thing really, because they're like, "Oh, he's his own man,"
That's right. I don't need to, hitch my wagon to Drew Carey. Okay?
Yeah.
Despite what he might think.
Hey, listen, he's not in Cleveland anymore.
No way.
know?
He hasn't been there in a while.
Yeah, he's over there hosting the old Price is Right.
And
he's gone
let me
Hollywood.
just say, that's when I stopped keeping track of him.
Yeah.
Well,
When
with something like
when
The
he
Price
changed
is Right.
jobs,
I think
You
you're
don't
up to
need-
date though. Like I think that's where his Wikipedia article is ending right now.
Yeah.
is-
No, Price is Right is that's your your job for the rest of your life. He's not going to get another job from now on. That's it.
Yeah, I guess it is a lifetime job.
you know
Matt.
what's crazy? Like
Sorry.
every game show is a lifetime job. Like literally my entire life, other than Bob Barker, all the other game show hosts are the same. Every single one of them.
Oh my gosh.
Pat Sajak, Alec Trebek, and
If the show's on
rest
the
of
air,
them.
it's the same host, until the end of time. No kidding.
Yep. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was Regis the whole time. Crazy.
where's the mentorship? You know,
just kidding.
Where's the I'm helping a young guy fill my shoes. It's like, nope, I'm gonna ride this out forever.
No, it's like football quarterback style. Like you're Aaron Rodgers and you're waiting for 5 more years of Brett Favre. That's That's how it's going to go. But let's
You're
talk some
telling me
basketball.
there could be a better host of The Price is Right out there, and we don't have it? And that's
I'm
not who
telling
we
you
have?
There is.
Oh my
telling you
gosh.
there is.
Controversial
It's probably like
opinion.
There's some guy on the
Was that
minor
King of
leagues of
Queens?
Wheel of Fortune right now being like, one day I'm going to replace Pat. It's going to be brilliant.
All right, let's get going here.
Bobby
let's-
Webster.
Ooh.
A very apropos paging Bobby Webster. And, I was going to I was going to go for it on question number 2, but let's actually make it question number 1. So for those who haven't heard, Chicago was reaching out to Bobby Webster, apparently. They were interested in him being the GM there. I actually just saw from Sean Woodley of Raptors Locked On podcast from his Twitter feed that apparently they actually are now interviewing Brian Colangelo, for the job in Chicago. Yes, which is just, that is the nugget of like joy I think a lot of us basketball fans needed, just to know that BC is out there and he's making moves, during coronavirus. BC is making moves. But no, let's stick with the Bobby Webster thing. Let's go to you first, Andre. I just want to get your feel on this. Is this inappropriate? Or what?
I wouldn't say it's inappropriate. And frankly, a little bit of sympathy for Chicago. It's been a tire fire there. So they're very, very, very good basketball fans.
Long time, bad time.
Yeah. So I think of all fan bases that A, need some competent leadership, and B, could use a solid guy like Bobby. Like, I don't begrudge them. So I wouldn't call it inappropriate. But on the flip side, if you're Bobby Webster, he's from Hawaii. I don't think like the move of Toronto to Chicago is, that exciting. I think maybe if it was LA calling or something like that. So I don't know, but I will say I'm generally supportive of the Bulls and hope good things happen to them, because they're a great basketball city.
Wow, I'm loving the just acceptance. I thought I was just like basically handing you a bunch of rocks to throw at Chicago, but your answer is like way more profound and genuine than. Anyways, I guess I'm just in like a self-isolation, like ready to punch people zone. But I'm glad to talk to someone who's not. Ned,
Yeah.
Where are you at with? I don't know if you've heard about this news, but what do you think about Chicago pursuing Bobby Webster during a pandemic?
Yeah, is this something they would be doing or be allowed to do if games are being played, or is this something they're just doing right now because they're treating it like season's on hiatus? Like, is this normal to be reaching out to people while they're currently actively competing? And
I think actually, I'm omitting something. I think you have to ask the team permission to speak to an executive, and I think that they asked permission to speak to Bobby, and that the Raptors said no.
I think, well, that's certainly reasonable for the Raptors to say no. We are in the middle of the season there, so that would be a little odd there. No, I mean, it makes sense that they would be pursuing him, though, if they're trying to fill that role. I mean, they are looking for somebody to, turn this around, and he would be a candidate who's had a lot of success to this point. But yeah, if they need permission, they're not going to get it.
Fair enough. I guess, yeah, make some moves, do some stuff. I kind of set this question up as of course it's inappropriate, but here I am just kind of thinking and reflecting. That's a good way to start the pod. I'm coming in here with too many of my own opinions solidified. So thank you, Andre, Ned. Showing me a little bit of different perspective. Matt, bit of a quick question there, but are we ready for question number 2? Can you give me that sting?
For the win!
Okay, I think I'm going to go to Ned first on this one. It's a bit of a meatier question, a bit more abstract as well. So, obviously, there's so many different coping skills going on during this extremely difficult time, and I think anyone tuning into this podcast must be obsessed with basketball in some way, and obviously you guys are, and so am I. But I have a couple different escapes, and one I'm going to talk about later, and it's going to reveal a lot about me, but that's okay. But Ned, do you have a basketball escape right now, or are you too busy with the rest of life that basketball, has been pushed all the way out, or do you think about it? Do you watch, are you watching classical games?
Well, I've been, wishing there were games to watch because it is, bummer when you're, stuck at home without it. No, I've been going just down the YouTube wormhole of various NBA TV programs.
Okay, so what's your wormhole? Where does it start?
Oh man, there's this show where they just put down all the personalities that they have under contract on couches, and they just talk basketball. They just talk whatever. And it's great. They got Shaq in there. They got Isaiah Thomas in there. Grant Hill, Chauncey Billups, people like that. Ernie from TNT is the moderator. And he basically just sets up ways for them to just talk shit, to one another and all day long. It's great. They just pick a topic and let them go. So that's been something enjoyable.
Well, that's a good escape because it's like very reminiscent, right? So it kind of I could see how that has a timeless quality and also like a comforting quality.
I love retired players fighting over who was better, in person. It's great.
I know.
It's very real.
I used to hate it more, but the older I've got, the more I'm like, oh, this is fun. These grandpas are poking each other.
It's also fun too because now some of the retirees were the guys that they were dissing. So you get somebody like T-Mac and he's like, or Paul Pierce, and you're like, actually, you guys don't know shit. And so we're now getting into that, like, if the first generation is kind of the Barclays of the world, and now you're getting the second generation, and soon it's going to be LeBron, and Dwayne
Wade,
exactly. So it's really going to be three distinct generations arguing with each other, which is going to be pretty fascinating.
There's this great one where they talk about, in the mid 90s when they did that 50 greatest players ever list, and they were talking about, okay, well, that was 20 years ago. Let's add 20 more players to this list. And everyone is jockeying for themselves to a degree. Like Reggie Miller is just begging for someone else to say he deserves to be on this team, and no one is going for it.
He's like, 3-pointers are a lot more important now,
Yeah, it's pretty influential. Certainly, now everyone's doing that. So, and Shaq just isn't having it. He's not having it.
Yeah.
Shaq's like, I averaged 32 and 12. Who are you?
Yeah. Shaq also is just such a, dominant presence as well. So even in those conversations, it's like the deeper and angrier he gets, it's like everything just starts to rumble.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what's he saying? And it's like so low that you're like, oh my God, he's mad.
Another good part of that is he's lobbying hard to get Penny Hardaway on this list. Shaq is. And he's saying, I would know better than you. He deserves to be on this list. And it's like, Shaq, I'm sorry. I can't let you do this. You're embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's good, but
peak Penny
16.
Hardaway. Yeah. Peak Penny Hardaway was great, but he was also was good for 4 seasons.
Yeah. We're talking the top 60 or 70 players ever.
Anecdotal.
Come on. Yeah. It's not happening.
So Ned,
basketball talk stuff is working for me right now because if I go and run errands, I just put on a podcast. So I'm doing a lot of audio and YouTube at the moment. But if this doesn't get better, and I was playing a game on my phone, a 3-point shooting game.
Oh, okay. So, what's it called?
So there you go. That's my fix.
What's the game called?
I think it's just called 3-Point Contest. and it's like the All-Star Game 3-point contest. You're just shooting, jacking up threes. Just seeing that ball go through the hoop makes me feel pretty good right now.
You need it.
That's right.
Okay.
And NBA Jam on online. There's this website I found that has all the old Sega games on it. So and there was this post on the Gimme the Raptors news page that got me thinking about NBA Jam. So I've been deep diving in NBA Jam Tournament Edition too.
I've been also playing some NBA Jam.
Oh yeah.
It's dated.
I'll say this.
Okay.
Reggie Miller might not deserve to be on that top 60 players list, but if you're playing NBA Jam Tournament Edition, you want the Pacers.
What's your team, Ned? What's like? Where do you go? You go Pacers? That's your number one draft.
No, well, my Rockets that post got me thinking. So I've been playing a lot as Rockets, as Hakeem just shoving people. I turn off that goaltending thing, so he's just goaltending all day long. But in the last day, I decided I should play in such a way that I can score the most points possible, and I'm finding the way I can do that most successfully is with Reggie because of the 3-pointers.
Yeah. Fair enough, yeah. I usually go Peyton and then realize that Peyton's like that they don't really give defense the as much love as it deserves in that game.
No, they treat defense like size. Like all you need is a big guy.
Yeah.
Like that Gary Payton is the best defensive guard ever means nothing in that game. Because you can just have Robert Horry shove him, It's an odd game.
Yeah.
Andre, what's A, your escape, and B, what's your team for NBA Jam?
Yeah, well, I think from an escape standpoint, I've been just not really super engaged on basketball. I think I'm actually a little bummed out. Like it just I think about it and I like miss it. I was on a high. I gotta say, I was doing very well in my fantasy league. If Ennis is listening, I was way ahead of him. And it was,
and in the league we were in together, you're comfortably tanking.
Yeah,
which is also good in a way. Hey, I'm not trying to share. You had a plan. Man. It's fine.
Exactly. It's all about having a plan. So I was just, riding high, and then the Raptors were the most fun thing I could possibly imagine watching. So, I've been cooking a lot. I've been, playing some video games, not as much the sports games, but some other games, and otherwise just you heard me play the guitar. I've been playing the guitar some more. My wife and I we set up a little recording studio in our apartment, and we're gonna try and make some covers of some songs and just try to do that. That's the escape.
Nice.
I like it. That's healthy, man. Good.
Trying to be healthy, I've just got, what I wouldn't give to watch a basketball game right now that I didn't know the outcome of. I'm following every article that pops up that's like, here's a, old classic basketball game. I usually dive into those and watch those.
I've been enjoying those too. I actually yesterday I watched the game one. When Yao was at his peak and he beat the Lakers at home, and he also that's when he broke his foot and it was basically the end of his career. It's just so sad and such a moment that I remember. It was such a crystallized moment for me, and just watching the whole game, it's like I don't know. He wasn't a rookie, but I think he was year 2 or 3 Lowry and Battier and Ron Artest, and it was just such a fun, cool, organic team, and the LA team was awesome too. But yeah, I've been watching some kind of historical games, and Andre, I think what you're doing is healthy. Ned, I think I'm gonna do some of what you're doing because I feel like I'm still consuming basketball. But back to Andre, I really am struggling. I think a lot of people are with this knowing outcomes.
Of
games. It's such it shouldn't be that big of a deal for me, and I really do enjoy the actual basketball. But it's such a simple thing that is difficult to cognitively get around.
I have to say, like, I'm very apprehensive about some of these these plans to, like build a build a tournament in Vegas or blah 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 blah.
Oh, we're gonna go there. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, so I'll hold my thoughts there because I've got a lot. I've been thinking about that a lot. That's what I've been doing.
Okay. Oh, this is good. I'm gonna let you lead on that then.
Well, I guess first my NBA Jam team though is Utah Jazz, John Stockton, Karl Malone. That's the best
a great
1-2
combo.
punch in the game.
Great combo.
I also really like the Hornets with Larry
Oh,
Johnson.
Morning and Larry Johnson?
Yeah, that's a great team too.
Some classic
Good times.
duos, and this was the season of duos. This was our NBA Jam, our generation's
right.
NBA Jam year.
That's right.
So, okay, are you ready? Mine is first of all probably less healthy than both of yours. Let me say definitely less healthy. Let me also say for sure more pathetic. But I'm just gonna go for it. I feel like I'm in a safe space, and I got to keep myself healthy. I'm cooking, I'm gardening, I'm working out. I'm doing most of the good stuff, but my basketball release, I've been consuming a lot of basketball as usual, and it's thinning out. And I went ahead and I bought NBA 2K.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty normal. Obviously, a lot of people play NBA 2K, but here's the deal with me. I haven't had it in years. Like, I think the last NBA 2K I really played was probably 2015.
Yeah.
So there's so much new, and there's so much new stuff in the game, and I'm also so bad. And I decided to play an NBA 2K My Player. So for anyone who's listening who doesn't really know what a My Player story is, but basically you play as one player. And it's hyper realistic. You get shoe deals and you can be rude to people and demand a trade, all this kind of stuff. So as fate would have it, I designed my player, and I'm going to give Matt a picture later because I'm going to document the process of my player throughout this pandemic, because I feel like honestly, why not? And maybe people would like to listen to me just unravel slowly over the course of of this whole thing. But anyways, my player's name is Federico Rivas, and maybe we should just treat it like an open forum. Andre, Matt, Ned, if you have any questions about my player, go for it. And because I feel like I'm living vicariously through this player.
Now,
So
I haven't done this My Player thing. Where does it start? When you're drafted or when you're born?
okay. So this is hilarious. I thought it started with an NCAA team. Now it kind of does, but a player gets injured, and it's very dramatic. And actually, your coach is Idris Elba, and yeah,
Great casting.
It's amazing. And anyways, the player who gets injured, Idris Elba tells to go home and rehab, basically kicks off the team. So then your player takes a stand. They basically kind of do a version of a Colin Kaepernick story. So your player doesn't play, gets kicked out of the NCAA.
Wow.
And then goes home, and in my scenario, I chose Chicago to go home to. So Anthony Davis comes and finds me at a playground, and he's like, "What happened to you, man? You're like a hero," and all this stuff. I don't know, man. It's dude.
This is the game. This is amazing.
I know. This. That's what I'm talking about. I'm Caitlin is just seeing me beaming playing this game, and it makes me feel like I've really lost it, because I'm enjoying myself way more than I should be. So, but anyways, yeah, ask me more questions about.
So
about the
wait,
players.
so
This just gets
you
better.
play street ball, and then what happens? You play overseas. You get
I signed with AD's agent, Maverick
Oh, okay.
Carter.
wow.
Yes, and Maverick
Ooh.
Carter, he's doing all. He's trying to get me to do movies and commercials and stuff, but instead of practice. So
yeah.
I could go
You got to
work
be
out,
practicing, man.
right?
Yeah,
So
you got to make the league. You got to practice.
I'm trying to split the difference. I'm trying to. The one thing I did do was he flew me to Dallas, and I met Mark Cuban and got to sit courtside at a Dallas game. So that was pretty sick. But yeah. So I got drafted. I picked 3 teams I was interested in. So I worked out for the Raptors, the Hornets, and the Grizzlies. Now, just take a wild guess who drafted me, guys.
The Hornets.
Glenn Grunwald.
Glenn Grunwald. Yeah, it was Glenn Grunwald. No, I got drafted by the Raptors.
Oh wow! Congrats.
Yes, right. So check this out. I'm just like, I'm torpedoing towards some type of crisis because I am like a shooting guard on the team, and my position battle is Norm Powell and Terrence Davis, and they're straight up killing me right now. So I'm like, I'm not getting. And by the way, the reason I went to the Raptors is because I was so terrible in the draft combine. Like all the games are almost like Mario Party style games.
Oh, wow.
So I placed dead last in the draft combine.
Oh no!
You know what I mean? I'm doing my best out here. Anyways, long story short, just letting the listeners of this podcast know, I am on game 7. I'm averaging 5 points, 1 rebound, 1.2 assists, and I play 10 minutes a game. And yeah, I'll keep you updated.
I'm trying to think with that type of stat line, what does that translate to as a real player? It's sounding a little like Joey Graham, maybe. Kind of a few points and a whole lot of nothing.
They gave me a player model when I designed my player. It was kind of like Kobe, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, or Bradley Beal. But right now, I would say I look like Gravis Vasquez on a really bad day.
Now, when you say you're playing 10 minutes a game, are you just sitting there watching the CPU play a game until you get called in?
Pardon me. Thankfully, you can like skip that, but you can only skip it a little bit. So let's just say I'm watching a lot of me not playing basketball. Anyways, I feel like I opened my heart to you guys, and it was well received.
I'm excited for you, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, just making the league is an achievement within itself, you know?
Right? And I should tell you this. Puma had a meeting with me, and they asked me, I think they wanted to pay me $1,500 or whatever the points are on my player to do an appearance. And I asked them to double it, and they walked out of the room.
Oh no!
Yeah. So
hey, just because you're with Maverick Carter doesn't mean, you're bigger than Puma.
I thought I don't know what I thought, but yeah. So that's where I'm at. Thanks for sharing your escapes with me, and I think we're ready to move on to question number 3. Maddie, would you give me that sting?
Faxing beside you, Jerry.
Wow.
Need that strong Maasai horn in these times.
Yeah, it really sounded like a delay, or the horn was like somehow muted. Or they're not muted, but just distorted. Anyways, good stuff, Matt. I'm living for these sound cues. Let's, you know what? We'll get to Andre's stuff later, but so let's stick with the order here. Andre, I will start with you though.
Okay.
This is just a hypothetical road I'm going down for this question. Okay. If the season is canceled, but free agency resumes, what do the Raptors do with Serge, Fred, Gasol, and Boucher? So it's kind of a question we asked all season. But I'm just asking your opinions on it. And in this hypothetical, some version of a season is going to start next year, so free agency still has to be dealt with.
Right. Okay. So, heading into next year, we still have Kyle Lowry on contract, but it's 1 year. So you get 1 year of Kyle Lowry. So I think you got to lock up Fred long term. Give him as long as you can give him, and you try to give him like, I don't know, somewhere between $18 and $21 million a year, something like that.
Right.
And you lock him up. He's your guy. Once Kyle's done, that's your guy. And then I think
your target number one's Fred.
Fred, for sure.
Yeah.
Target number one. Target number two is Ibaka. I think you try to get him on a 2-year deal, something like that. He, I think, is still in his 20s, which is kind of crazy because I think he's 36, but I think he's only 29 or something.
Yeah, there's always the Ibaka age confusion stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not one of those people. Like I think he is the age he is. Right. He's 30. He's 30. Okay. So,
but
yeah,
at the same time, there still is like genuine like vagueness.
Yeah, I don't know. People are silly. Like I think the guy knows how old he is. And
that's what I always thought.
You know, he's 30. Like we're not saying he's a 21-year-old. So he's 30. He's 30, and I think he's not like a super worn out 30 by any means. So I think he's still peak Ibaka for another couple of years. So I would take that, and then as far as Mark and Boucher go, I think it's like if they want to do a sweetheart deal and be friendly with the team, all good. But otherwise, it's hard to really invest in those two when you gotta lock up Fred and Serge. So that's my approach, I think.
I think I'm almost basically the exact same as that answer. I think that Gasol, based on this kind of coronavirus and like, I think he has some more game left in him, but I feel like just as far as order of business, you kind of nailed it, because you can't say like, hey, Gasol, what do you think about one more year at the minimum?
Right.
If there's any chance of Serge being like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I think I can never tell how Bobby and Masai do it. Like, if it's multiple people at a time or who has to wait for who. But Ned, what about you? What do you think?
I agree with the order of priorities there. Say that again. Yeah, I would agree with that order of priority. I don't think there's a player that has increased their value. I mean, Fred has increased his value more even just this abbreviated season than just about anybody in the league. You got to keep Freddie, but and then Serge, just because he's 5 years younger, 6 years younger than Gasol. Gasol is, I love him, but he's declined a lot this year. Certainly, if he can, and same with Boucher in terms of what resources are going to be left here. If those two guys want to get that money, they'll have to get it somewhere else, because I think you're right. We're going to have to line things up more for the others.
Well,
plus, I love what Serge is doing on social media. I love this.
Oh, he's the best.
He's turned into a media mogul here. It's great.
He's a team hero at this point. Like, I think he was already a legendary status for most Raptors fans, but this season he's just like him and a couple guys. Like, obviously Lowry is the biggest one, I would say, but they've just like padded their all-time Raptors legend reputations this year. Okay. Let's move to the last question here, and we'll start with Andre so he can kind of unleash. Maddie, would you give me that sting?
Raptors
Hey. Andre. Hey. Andre.
Hey.
People, I think it's fair to say that we are all, clamoring for basketball, sure, but also clamoring for, pardon me, some type of normalcy. And I think it's fair to dream about what might happen when it does start to happen. But I'll just let you kind of go off on any of the rumors you've heard regarding the NBA. What excites you most? Maybe what angers you the most? Just go for it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think Adam Silver by far, not only like, looking at the landscape of sports leagues and their commissioners and what leaders are doing, like Adam Silver is clearly just nailing it. But also leaders of any corporation, any company, any institution, he's been the guy that's been striking the right tone and making the right decisions. So whatever he deems the right move, I'm sure it's going to be the right move. But the
really
thing
is a professional motherfucker, that guy.
Oh, A+.
Yeah. Sorry.
The thing that gets me kind of like of all these stupid, like, what if they moved the NBA to Vegas and play blah blah blah. Yeah. The thing that gets me the most excited, because I think it would involve the least amount of people, would satisfy such good sports viewing and all of that, would be the big three, just running a tournament of the big three. Pick like some location, test everybody, and then just get 40 washed up basketball players to play basketball every single day for an adoring internet public. It would, like, I mean, wouldn't we all be glued to our TV watching every single Big Three game?
I think is it that one's the closest to happening, is it not? Like, because I
think it is.
Big Brother, Big Brother was like, what's it called? Like Ice Cube and Big Brother were chatting or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know who Big Brother is. If you mean the deep state U.S. government, maybe that's the case.
I don't mean to step here, but
that's who I mean. Yeah.
The NBA has, I believe it's confirmed, they're planning on running a horse tournament.
Yeah, that one is
that confirmed though?
I also think that's going to be like, pardon my language, lame. Like, it's just going to be, like, hey, I'm LeBron James in my driveway in Malibu. Like, watch me shoot balls under my legs or whatever.
Oh, they're not going to do that in a court setting?
No,
it's just people shooting videos.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, because I don't think
I was imagining like they do at the All-Star game or have done at the All-Star game.
Yeah,
something closer to the Big Three tournament.
I'm reading NBA developing horse tournament, and maybe split the difference here, Andre. There's a picture of Adam Silver in this headline.
Okay.
So maybe if we trust Adam, But Ned, is there a rumor? Is there a basketball rumor? Oh wait, sorry. Before I go to Ned, Andre, you said you had a bunch to say on this. So is there a different angle that I kind of didn't set up that you wanted to say about this, kind of all these basketball rumors and?
No, yeah, I think for the most part it was my excitement at the Big Three. Mostly because, I'm just not ready to say goodbye to some of those players, and I really like the concept of watching, Josh Smith or whatever other like recently washed up basketball player, still competing. It's just a fun experience. So that's it.
Andre,
I'm mostly I am pro Big Three.
All I can say is I don't know why, or I don't know what interaction we've had in the past that has made me read you so wrong. Because when you said you had a bunch to say, I was trying to open up the angle. I thought for sure you were just going to go just like steaming down the path of like, that's a horrible use of hospital supplies.
Right.
Even the idea of the paramedics needing to be stationed for basketball players is absolutely ridiculous. The logistics, like, we shouldn't even be talking about it. But I mean, I love that you were like, yes, but I'm excited for the Big Three.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, it's like, the NBA is far too big of an operation. The games matter too much. There's too many logistics involved, and it's just too big. And to all those points you mentioned, it would cause too much strain on local governments, on healthcare workers, on and on and on. The Big Three, on the other hand, how many players can you wrangle in the Los Angeles County or surrounding areas and find a location where everybody can get tested and everybody, like you get a couple
and you
good.
don't need paramedics, because if those guys like sprain an ankle, they're like, I got this. You know what I mean? Like those guys are like, there isn't a career after this,
Right.
So those guys are down to go full Hunger Games for this.
Totally. And like, yeah, that's where I go. Like, if you're gonna just wrangle up some players and it's not a big important thing, and these guys don't have careers ahead of them and all that kind of stuff, and it's really, that would be the only thing I would think would be appropriate, and otherwise it's bleak. It's bleak.
Fair. Ned, is there any? Yeah, for you, is it the horse? Or is there something else you're thinking about? Or
well, the horse tournament is interesting to me. I was imagining that though being in a court setting. If it isn't, I wonder. But here's what I'm thinking, because there's been some developments in other sports that in my imaginary world it'd be interesting if they pursued a different angle here. So I'm a pro wrestling fan. They did WrestleMania last week with no fans in the arena and everything pre-taped.
Wow.
And it was incredible. It was so good. They managed to make it real good. They even had they had planned a big three-way tag team thing, right, with ladders. But because that requires too many people, they just did it so that there was one representative from each tag team. So that's one angle, a sprinkle of that, and then a sprinkle of, if you've heard, Dana White from UFC has apparently purchased a private island to continue running UFC events, which got me thinking, oh shit, that's like Mortal Kombat or something, it's like, or Street Fighter. So here's what I'm thinking: sprinkle that, and maybe a sprinkle of that, NBA Jam discussion we were having on Facebook. Here's what I would like to see. If we can't run the playoffs as usual, we're going to do a one-on-one tournament. Each team gets to pick one player, and they play basketball on like a ship in the middle of the ocean or something like that, like a carrier. And you shoot it, and you put it in the can, and you edit it together like it's an action movie or something like that. That's what I'd like to watch.
Okay.
How many teams are in the league? 30? 32?
Yeah.
How many teams are in the league? 32?
No, 30.
30. So it's a 30-man tournament, one-on-one, and that's how we're going to do the playoffs. The winner is the NBA champion and default NBA Finals MVP.
That's pretty good.
On a boat,
good.
middle of the ocean.
I'm trying to find like even one hole in your plan, and I can't. Like, it's
just get them out there.
Out. It's pretty thorough.
Just get them on the boat.
Pretty safe.
Keep them separate. There's still distancing in effect. There are a couple doctors on there, but we're not taking a bunch of resources. We make sure they're healthy going in. We test them throughout. And otherwise, if it ends up looking boring watching it live, you shoot it. You add some sound effects maybe. You pick different angles. And
Okay.
I see no reason why that wouldn't be the biggest thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, your idea is way more cool than mine. I think I kind of dabbled for a little while in going to like even more dystopian. So kind of like, okay, we're in a dystopian scenario. How do we get these players like playing like right beside Chernobyl or whatever? Like, you know what I mean? Like how do we up the danger? But then I kind of was like, all right, if I'm being serious and actually what I'm kind of dreaming for is some version, some way for this Raptors legacy to be kind of intact. So like I am hoping for like that, all this confidence we have in Adam Silver, it's because like when he announces the NBA is back, it's because it actually is a symbol of, we're heading towards more safety and, figuring this thing out. So I kind of have this weird idea in my head where however long this goes on for, the NBA is going to be like, hey, we're not even going to miss a game. we're going to do this like 3 or 4 year insane schedule where it's like super spread out and twisted and weird to not lose anything. And it's going to be like, there's going to be a 2 weeks break here and a 2 week break. And it's going to be like insane. But the idea, just the regular schedule will be no more. And that will be the results of this. Like the big results of this will be that everything still happened, but just on a different timeline.
So you actually just reminded me. I did have more on this topic.
Okay,
and
hit me up.
and what you're saying was very similar to what I was thinking. Is the NBA is trying to get this mid-season tournament going, and right now they're like, I don't know, mid-season tournament. How do we do it? What does it make sense? So if in fact the season needs to be ended, and there's really logistically no way to optimally do the playoffs. I say you run the playoffs as a mid-season tournament, and then if any players switch teams, they have to bounce back to their old team for the mid-season tournament. So it's like the Raptors, maybe we lose Marc Gasol to the Los Angeles Lakers, but in the mid-season tournament, he's still a Raptor. And so they bounce back and forth. And then ultimately you crown the 2019-2020 champion during the All-Star break and finish it off in like a cool Final Four format or something really, really high frequency. And then you go back to business as usual. That was my my thoughts on salvaging this season.
I know it seems like bleak and silly to even think about salvaging, but hey, we're all having bleak and silly thoughts from time to time, right? It's not all thoughts of existential dread. Surely there's some weird dreams. Okay, I think we've made it to the last part of the pod. Quickish questions. Maddie, would you give me that sting?
Quickish Questions!
Holy guacamole. We are here for Quickish Questions. This one's going to be a little bit different. I threw it up late, and we didn't get a lot of questions. So Andre jumped in, and he threw in a question. But then also me and Matt, we just brainstormed right before the pod, and we think we wrote some pretty dumb and funny questions, hopefully. But to keep the kind of format of this, I'm still going to ask the question. So, Matt, you might get a question that you wrote, but you might not. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm ready when. Oh wait, I can't believe I didn't say it. No phoning a friend. Yeah. Answer as quick as you can. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stutter. I'm gonna stammer. I'm gonna slur. It's up to you. Let's start with Ned.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, I wasn't ready, but I will be in a
Quick
second.
questions, Freddie. Quick.
No, I know. But see, okay, I messed it all up already, but it's okay. I'm gonna get into the groove.
I've forgotten the rules already. This is gonna drag.
Here we go. Okay, this is good. This is good.
Yes.
Ned,
Yes.
should Kawhi wash his hands for 40 seconds instead of the 20 that is being recommended?
Should he do it for 40? Why? Because I don't understand why he would need 40.
Yes,
I was gonna jump in and help here.
Sure. What are you thinking?
What I'm thinking is no, because he lives in Los Angeles and they're in drought conditions, and that would use up way too much water. It would just
Very good
be
point.
irresponsible.
That's right. It would be
Okay.
irresponsible use of water. It's unnecessary. If he gets a psychosomatic boost from washing his hands for 40 seconds, I don't know, man. He'll just have to recycle some water or something for that, because I will not stand for him wasting that water.
Okay. Andre,
Yeah.
if you could only hop, how many points would you score in an NBA game?
Like I had to jump with 2 feet at all times.
That's right.
In an NBA, me,
That's
5'10", 155
versus NBA players.
versus NBA players, and I'm handcuffed. I'm the
48
one.
minutes.
Everybody else gets to run around. I hop.
But they play you the whole game.
0 points. 0.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah. Any points scored are pity points. Any points scored.
Matt.
Yes.
Okay. I want to know what people's real plan of attack would be if they were Adam Silver. And then I want to know the outlandish version of the answer. This is Andre's fill-in later. So give me a quick version of that, Matt.
His plan of attack going forward?
Yes.
I think that there's going to be a ton more free stuff at games. It's going to be wild. Like, it's not going to be just t-shirts on chairs. It's going to be like Oprah. It's going to be like some crazy, every once in a while, like a random person's chair will have like season seats for a year or something. It'll be nuts.
Oh wow! Just like tickets to Leon.
Yeah, gift cards for Leon's.
That's huge.
Yankee candles.
That's one thing I think will happen. How much more do you need?
Wow, having fun, Matt? Jeez. And then the follow-up was, and then I want to know the outlandish version of the answer, which is what's the most outlandish version of Adam Silver's plan of attack?
What's more outlandish? I think that he says the NBA is going to resume, but not on this planet. And he takes it
baby.
to the moon.
Now we're talking.
Are you suggesting we're going to have a Space Jam?
A real
He is.
Space Jam.
Okay, Ned.
Yes.
What is the NBA doing to flatten the curve?
What, like, literally, what are they doing?
That's right.
I think they did quite a lot. If you recall, the NBA canceling all their games was the tipping point on this whole thing. Prior to them canceling their games, everyone was kind of like, oh, I wonder what will happen. When they canceled the games, everyone knew this was serious.
So they're the beginning of the new curve.
They have always been at the head of all of this stuff. Whatever they're doing now is what we're going to be doing in 2 weeks. In terms of what they need to do if they return, obviously that's going to be constant testing. And you know, it's kind of an outlandish idea, but if they got to limit the number of players on the court to 2-on-2, 3-on-3, or 1-on-1, it's just what we're going to have to do.
All right, Andre.
Yeah.
Which NBA player should be the spokesperson for Zoom?
The NBA player that should be the spokesperson for Zoom is John Wall.
I
Whoa.
like it. Matt.
Yes.
Masai Ujiri, Kyle Lowry, Bobby Webster, and Nick Nurse all make themselves available to help with the global pandemic. What roles do you give them?
Oh, wow.
This is your pandemic squad. What do you do?
Oh, dear. Well, I want Nick to put his guitar down for 2 seconds.
Sure.
And start, like, you know, if he's got some old shirts or whatever, I want him to start making some masks for people.
Got it.
Kyle, hopefully that butt is still juicy. If somebody needs a pillow,
Maintain the butt.
yeah, and offer his butt as a pillow for people that need to lay down.
Yeah, that butt is buoying the nation.
Okay, so we got Nick with masks.
Yeah.
Lowry, maintain the butt. Keep it as a pillow. But what about Bobby and Masai?
Now, Bobby and Masai, I want them to... Okay, let's go with Bobby first because, you know, how I feel about him. Mm-hmm. I think that Bobby should, you know, bring his capologist in, run the numbers, and cure this thing. Okay, I want him working on the vaccine. That's what I'm trying to do there.
That's good thinking. Yeah.
And I want Masai to just the main thing in this during this pandemic is to like sign a Scientology contract with the Raptors where we own him for like 1 billion years.
Oh, I like that. Okay, that's good. Like a lifetime Masai contract.
Yeah.
Okay, Ned, do you feel robbed
Yes.
that the Raptors' excellent season has been cut short, or do you feel awesome that the Raptors might be the reigning champs for next year?
I like that it adds a little bit of lore, like the kind of unknown. If there are no playoffs, this unknown of like, ooh, they could have repeated, they could have run it back. And I think if there's no playoffs, without a doubt, every Raptors fan should be screaming in everyone's face, that still the champs 2 years running.
Hell yes.
Hell
Andre,
yes.
Which player's legacy was most robbed by this NBA season coming to an abrupt halt?
Okay. Two people come to mind. The first is Vince Carter. I just don't think he had enough games played in his career to really solidify himself.
Fair.
And I really think, another 13 games would have really done it. And now I think he's on the outside looking in. You know what I mean? And the second person, and I think we all agree, the most consequential NBA player was Joakim Noah. He was coming back, was going to make a huge difference to, I think it was the Dallas Mavericks. And he was going to reignite everybody's love of the crazy looking Joakim Noah. So those were the two.
Mania.
Yeah, it was going to happen.
By the way, I think he was coming back to play for the Clippers.
Oh, Clippers. Okay.
Ooh.
That's what I meant when I
Even
said
scarier.
the Mavericks.
Okay. I think we're back to Matt. Matt.
Yes.
Hello.
If the Raptors had to change their color scheme, what should they change it to?
I feel like we've kind of talked about this before. I think something little blue. They don't have to go with the husky ones exactly, but like I think inject a little blue into it.
Okay.
Okay.
Ned, the UFC is starting back on a remote island. If the NBA resumes, where would it be specifically?
Okay. If they're going to do an island, I think they should get some island in the South Pacific that no one lives in and take some time to really shape the topography. Because what I would like is from like an overhead perspective, it'd be great if it looked like a skull. Like there were two lakes where the eye holes would be. And I want Adam Silver to come back with an eye patch and a scar on his face, maybe. Sure. And he's like petting a cat. And he comes back as like a Dr. Skull or something like that. And he's like, I have brought all the world's greatest players to, play for my amusement, And because I think that's the setup we kind of need to add some narrative gravitas to this
idea.
remote tournament.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say I love the idea of Adam Silver kicking this off. Just like dressing up as the easiest person to eliminate from Guess Who.
Yeah, too many gimmicks, too many.
No, more.
Unique.
Okay, Andre.
Yeah.
Who would do best with an extra arm/hand? Which player, if you could give him a third arm and hand, like it's not just an arm, like also with a hand. So,
okay,
who would benefit from that the most?
LeBron James.
I think so, right?
Right.
Okay, Matt. Best dunk you have ever seen in person, in real life dunk.
Oh boy, best dunk I've ever seen. Oh, it's hard to say because I don't recall going to a game where I was like, oh my god. But if I were to pick one, I went to that Charlotte game earlier in like November, and I feel like there were some pretty fun. Like OG had a really good night. I think he had a career night at that point. I think he made a couple, or at least one that was like
nice little OG reverse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ned, Who is your favorite
Yes.
rookie ever? Basketball.
Favorite rookie ever? Well, the one that I followed the most closely, naturally, I was still living in Cleveland at the time of LeBron's rookie season. He's a year older than me. I'd been following him since he was in grade 10. So me and my buddies, we would spend our lunch break in the music room because we were in a barbershop quartet. I'm giving you a lot of crucial information here.
Wow. Yeah, I
where
know.
we would practice in grade 12, and we would go on one of the school computers and, look at highlights and box scores every day. So that was the one that I was the most invested in. In terms of others that were real impressive, let's say Blake Griffin. I really liked his emergence in the league.
Okay, Andre.
Yeah.
Who should be, let's pick 3 guys. Who should be in the horse competition?
Horse. I think it should be Steph Curry. It should be Luka Doncic. And lastly should be I'm going to say DeMontis Sabonis.
Matt, which non-NBA player would you like to see in a horse competition?
Non-NBA player in a horse competition. I'd like to see, let's you know what, he's got a regulation sized court. Let's put Drake in there.
Love it. Ned, when the NBA resumes,
Yes.
is it too late to bring back Vince?
To the Raptors
That's right.
or to the NBA?
Both.
Both. Is it too late? It's never too late. Do you see him?
Correct.
He scored when they brought him out there. Never too late for Vince Carter.
Last question of the pod. Thank you, guys. Is for you, Andre. If you got to replace a basketball with another sports ball, but it was still the game of basketball, what ball would you choose?
Bowling ball.
Wow.
That's good. Yeah, that's good for the bouncing. Thanks. And, I don't know why I was expecting a volleyball, like a thoughtful answer for that question, but no, I got bowling ball is what I get for that.
Not only is it going to wreck the court, it's going to wreck the ice underneath.
That's right. Matt is thinking about the arena logistics with the bowling ball shit. Okay.
Yeah,
That's where we are. Guys, thank you so much for joining. And this is fun. Andre, what's your... I've been kind of changing up what you have to promote right now, but what's like your message to the world right now? Or if you got something going on.
Okay, message to the world: just take it day by day. I think sometimes I've been getting caught up in thinking about what's everything going to look like in 6 months or next week or 12 years from now. I think the thing that's made me the most sane is just trying to have a good day, thinking about what I'm doing today, taking care of myself today. So take it day by day.
Right on. Ned?
Just treat this like, that weird week between Christmas Day and New Year's Day. You don't know what's going on. You're just laying around. That's enjoyable. Just enjoy it as you would enjoy that.
Hell yeah. And I'll just say, let's all be, maintain compassion for one another and ourselves. Matt, any kind of send off to the world before next pod?
Yeah, just I've got this app on my text message. It's called Pigeon Games, and it has a bunch of little mini games that you can play with people. If you have it, you can text me, and we can play some archery or Battleship, and keep in contact. It's pretty fun. Keep looking for fun ways to connect with your friends and loved ones.
I love it. Thanks everyone for joining the pod, and we'll check you out next week. See you later.
Around here speak basketball.
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.